everybody and welcome back to King Color, and today I am going to be doing the 12 art styles challenge. And it's usually the 10 art styles challenge, but when I divided it up like on my paper it was 12, so I'm like fine, I'll do 12. Plus I had 12 art styles in mind. Anyway, this is the video games edition and it's gonna involve some really cool styles, well, that I like. And so I'm really excited to get into it, and I just want to say before we get started, this video is going to be, I'm going to colour it in traditional, but I'm going to outline it digitally. And you might be wondering, why am I outlining it digitally? And the reason I'm outlining it digitally is because I noticed that a lot of the styles had thin outlines, and I don't like my thin outliners because like they, what do you call it? Yeah, because when I rub it out, they kind of like, I don't know, fade. Yeah, they fade, and parts of it, I don't know, kind of rubs away. Also, and then it never gives it a clean look. And also, I don't really like using them. I don't know, and I can't really use my brush pen because most of them don't have a brush pen look. They're kind of more of a fine liner look in the fact that it doesn't have varying line weights. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling because I ramble for too long and this intro is going to get too long. So I'm going to quickly go through the outlining process so we can slow it down and watch the traditional colouring process for most of the video, because I know you guys prefer to watch traditional, I think. I hope. Anyway, let's get into the video. Alright, so like I said before, quickly going through the digital liner, and then I'm going to print it, and then I'm going to colour it. And this made the process way easier because there's way more brushes to choose from on digital, and I could actually get the outlines right, whereas with traditional I find I don't have enough options to get the liner looking like the official, whereas colouring is way easier. I can basically get all the looks with my markers, but find it really way more difficult with my for the outlining because I don't have that many options. Plus, like I said before, I find that whenever I use my thin outliners, my thin line art pens, they never work out nice, it never looks nice, so I decided to do it digitally like I said. And right now I'm not telling you what styles I'm drawing, but I will tell you when we get into the video. I'd be really interested if any of you could tell what styles they are without the colouring or without me telling you just right now in the line art stage. Maybe you can tell because of the pictures coming up on screen of what I'm drawing. But anyway, the line art's nearly finished and let's get into the colouring. Okay, so our first video game art style that I'm going to be drawing is Poppy Playtime, and this is probably a fairly unknown style to most people as it's not iconic just yet. Like, the game is, but the 2D art is not. But I couldn't do a video game art styles challenge without drawing Poppy Playtime. So I had to draw Poppy Playtime, plus the art is really pretty and cute and I couldn't help myself but draw it. Anyway, but for the style of this game, like the 2D art, I noticed there was quite a bit of variation in colouring techniques and outlining techniques. So I decided to go with the black outline, where it's the one that I noticed was the most prominent was the black outline, thin for most lines, but then a thicker outside edge, if that makes sense. I don't think I'm wording that right. And it basically had no shading, but a little bit of shading here and there. Oh, and we're already on to the next one. Next one is Five Nights at Freddy's. And I used to find this style pretty difficult, but actually not that hard for me anymore. I guess I've practiced it now. I hadn't practiced it before. And so I based the design for this one off of a mix of Toy Chica, Glamrock Chica and Circus Baby. I did the face shape of Toy Chica, then I did the body, a mix of Toy Chica and Glamrock Chica, and then the face I got the fringe inspiration from Circus Baby, and I got the mouth from Circus Baby. I think Toy Chica and Circus Baby, yeah, both had the cheeks. I noticed most of the girls had cheeks, but anyway. And one of my favourite things about the style is the inset eyes that they have. Well, they're not really inset per se, but you know, they are kind of. I tried to capture that look, but I mean, it was, I don't know if I super succeeded, but I'm very happy with how this turned out. It surprisingly took me a long time. And I was like, wow, how did that take me so long? Because the other one, you know, had no shading, and the Poppy Playtime one, so it didn't actually take too long. But this one had heaps of shading, so it took a lot longer. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. And I tried to make the hair look as if it was like, not actual hair, but like, it was like hard and joined to her head, like it was the same material as her head and joined on. So that's kind of how I did it. That's why it's not like kind of natural, more natural looking like the one to the left, the Poppy Playtime one. It's more like kind of bulky, a big bulky chunk or something, because it's, you know, I imagined it as if it was like hard material, not an actual, not actual hair. So now I'm just shading it, and like I said, it took a lot. It had a lot of layers and took a lot longer than all the others because it had more in-depth shading. But it was actually probably one of the most fun ones to color. Anyway, so in the last one, I gave myself pink hair, and you're probably going, hang on a minute, you don't have pink hair. I don't, but I imagined how I would look in every game, so I didn't just draw myself in the style, I drew myself in how I reckoned I would look in that game. So as you can see on the left one, the Poppy Playtime one, I gave myself very bright candy pink hair and bright colours, whereas with the FNAF one, I gave myself brown hair, which is my actual colour, and also a more muted pink, because I imagined how I'd look in every game, and I feel like that's how I'd look in FNAF. I don't think the colours would be as bright, because for the most part the characters aren't as bright in FNAF, whereas because Poppy Playtime is all about toys, the characters are a lot more bright and kiddish. So that's why the colours vary and change. So yeah, and the eyes, yeah, like I said before, were inspired by Toy Chica and Glamrock Chica. They had very similar eyes. And I really like how they had the hood with the eyelashes. I mean, I know some others actually have that as well. Like, I know Toy Bonnie also has that, and Toy Bonnie is definitely one of my favourite characters. I also got inspiration from the way Jordan Persegatti draws FNAF, because he draws FNAF a lot. He's one of my favourite YouTube artists, especially if I want to watch FNAF, like drawings. And I didn't do all the textured look in this artwork like I have before in these kind of drawings, because that's what I do when I want them to look withered and creepier and old. But I didn't want me as a FNAF animatronic to look old and withered, so I kept it kind of more smooth looking. But I still think I did a really good job at doing the FNAF style. I was very happy with how that turned out. And next we have the Sonic the Hedgehog style, if you couldn't tell, and I decided to make my skin or fur pink, and the same muted pink as FNAF, because, you know, it went with, I don't know the style more, because, you know, it's similar to Amy Rose's colour pink, but I wanted it to be darker because I wanted that to be the highlight, as Sonic the Hedgehog had these really noticeable highlights where they'll have this strip of highlight, then a shadow, and then go into the base colour, as you can see what I've done there, especially on the hair. And it's such an effective style of shading. I really like it. I want to kind of practice that style more in my own drawings, because I feel like it just looks really effective and cool and cartoony, yeah, it just looks awesome. And the gloves, I am really happy with how they turned out. Later on, I kind of thought I should have done them green, but you know, I know in the moment I was just like, you know, looking at the Sonic artwork, and then did mine, and his has the white gloves, so I just kind of did it white, and then I thought, maybe I should have done it green, but you know, I like it, it looks good, and the white probably makes it look more like Sonic the Hedgehog style, so it's probably better that I kept it white. And then I gave myself a rose red dress, which I also did for Poppy Playtime. I really like that colour. I mean, really, obviously my favourite colour is pink, so really every artwork just has pink, no matter what shade, it's just always pink. But you know, for the most part, I like the kind of hot pink or rose red kind of pink, as well as a candy pink. They're my two favourite pinks, but as you can see, I've also got like a kind of musky pink in there as well. I really like that kind of pink as well. So they're probably my three favourite shades of pink as far as I can remember off the top of my head, or that's what I used. So we're nearly finished with the Sonic the Hedgehog style, and I know that it doesn't usually have eyebrows, but I wanted to add eyebrows in to add some extra expression. I just thought that looked good. And now we're going on to the Shantae style. And Shantae definitely have one of the prettiest art styles I've seen in a video game. So it was really fun to draw this. And you know what? I actually already did a video game art style challenge, but none of you would have seen it because I never uploaded it. I filmed it, I edited it, I voiceovered it, but you know what, I decided not to upload it because I was really unhappy with the way the drawings turned out. They looked really bad, like I put no effort into it, and even though I actually did put effort into it, like for some reason they didn't turn out good. I guess I just didn't study the styles enough, and so I wasn't happy with how they turned out. Also, I did it on sketchbook paper and not Express It, so the colours just did not blend well and it did not look very nice. So I didn't end up uploading that one, and I'm like, I want to redo it. I want to really research these styles and make sure I got all the details way more on point than in the original, and so I'm happier with the artwork, and I'm way happier with how this one turned out. I researched it way more and got the style way closer to the originals, I reckon, than the original video I did, which you haven't seen. But anyway, now I'm finishing up with the Shantae, and it has a cool cell shading style. Cell shading is one of my favourite colouring styles, so it's exciting when these styles have more shading, because a lot of them don't have much shading. There's a lot of bulky colours and light on the shading for most styles, so when a style has more shading, it's like yes. And next we're on to a very popular style right now, which is Friday Night Funkin'. And how could I do a video game art style challenge video without doing Friday Night Funkin'? And this style is very different to a normal art style. Like, you know, they've got like no legs, huge feet, and very, very cool hands. I love the hands. It's probably my favorite part of the style. And so I took the eyes off of Girlfriend's design, but then took the body off of Boyfriend. And obviously they're the two main characters. And I also took the way of the hair shading off of Girlfriend's design because, you know, my hair resembled more close to her style because it's, you know, girl's hair, whereas Boyfriend's hair has like a hat on it, and, you know, it's nothing like, I don't know what I've got, so, you know, it went a lot better. And I was wondering what shoe colour to do, and I decided to do green because I'd been doing green accents in my other artworks, and, well, not all of them, but some of them, and I thought, yeah, I'll do green because, I don't know, it looked good, and I had to think of another colour. And next one, this one is probably the one that I think is the funniest, which is the Rabbids style, and this was inspired by the cartoon Rabbid from Raving Rabbids, and I love Rabbids, so I had to put Rabbids as one of the art styles. They're just so hilarious, they're so cool. And I loved the look of this cartoon Rabbid, because obviously this isn't the usual look because they're usually 3D models, but there was this cartoon rabbit style, and it's just it looks so cool and funny. And I added and the way I drew the hair made it kind of look like a wig, which I think is hilarious, because in the Rabbids Invasion TV show, which is amazing, you have to check it out by the way, but anyway, in the Rabbids Invasion TV show, they dress up all the time, and so making it look like a wig really fit. And next we're going on to one of my favourite video games, which is Bendy and the Ink Machine. And so this style is black and yellow with basically no shading, so it's very different to the rest of them, because as you know, I've been doing pink in basically every artwork, but this one is black and yellow, so there's like no traces of pink or green or anything, because it's just black and yellow. I based the look off of the cartoon versions of them, not the 3D model versions, because it's hard to draw a 3D model as a 2D artwork, even though I did with FNAF and later with Animal Crossing. But I based it off Alice Angel, the cartoon version, because she's the only female character in the 2D form, and so I based the proportions off of that. And that's about all there is to it. I'm really happy with the way I drew those hands, and I also used the I didn't use the black marker for most of it. I used the outliner brush pen, because it gives a cleaner black, except for the hair, because it was too big of a portion. Anyway, now we're going on to Cuphead, and Cuphead is very, very based on the 1930s aesthetic style, so like Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, so it's really like that style, but I mainly based this look off of a mix of Miss Chalice and Carla Maria. I did Miss Chalice, I did her eyes, her face, and the way her arms go, but then Carla Maria I based the hair off of a little, and we already finished that one. The next one is probably my favorite out of all of them, for the final product wise, and this is A Hat in Time, which is probably the indie game none of you have heard of. A lot of people haven't heard of it, and it is amazing, so if you like games, please check it out. And Hat in Time is my all-time favorite game, so how can I not put it in here? And I heavily based the design off of Hat Kid, because she's one of the only human characters. And so I decided to make my hair brown. As you can see, I'm alternating between pink and brown hair. I decided to make my hair brown as Hat Kid has brown hair, and I noticed all the human characters have normal colored hair. So Hat Kid has brown hair, Moustache Girl has blonde hair, so I went with brown hair, so I got brown hair. And there's a more in-depth style of shading for Hat in Time, I noticed. I really like the way they shade it. It's mostly soft shading, I'd say, but it's very, very dynamic the way they shade. It's so pretty. I love all the, maybe not pretty, but it looks so cool, and I love the way they do all the title cards. Anyway, rambling. So I decided to give her a more dark pink color scheme, because Hat Kid had a very dark color scheme. She's like a dark purple and yellow, and so I decided to go for darker colors for this outfit rather than lighter colors. And the soft shading was really nice to do, as a lot of them have either no shading or cell shading, and as you know, I like cell shading the most, but this was really fun to do, and all the folds, and the hat was so cool. I really like the design of this one as well. And for the most of the artworks I did green accents, but this one I did a mint green. I just thought it would look good and suit, and I think it does. It just looks really pretty against the pink hat, and that bow is really pretty, and I'm really happy with how this style turned out. is the style of Paper Mario, and this is probably the one that I'm the least happy with, but I don't actually think I did a bad job of it. I just am not that keen on the style in general. I don't know, it's very basic, and very flat and kind of boring, but at the same time, you know, it's a very stark contrast from most of the ones that I was doing. Like if you look at the Hat in Time style next to it, Hat in Time is way more detailed, and this is very cartoony and flat, you could say. So it's a very interesting contrast to see, you know, how I look in all these different styles. And obviously, since it's Super Mario, I instantly thought that I had to design myself as a princess, and so I did. And the next style is actually Super Mario again, but Super Mario Princesses, not just Super Mario in general, because I don't feel like there's a defined style enough to kind of just say Super Mario. So it's obviously based on the Super Mario Princesses, because I love the way they draw them and the style, so I had to do that. And as you can see, I'm shading that right now, and I noticed that the style had a lot of, like, not shading but gradients. And so, you know, the hair, I just went from a dark brown to a lighter brown. It was really a mid brown, and I did that on the dress and the sleeves as well, because that is the style. And so there's basically no shading, but in replace of shading is gradients from like dark to mid or dark to light to replace that. And the final style is Animal Crossing, and I'm sure that this is most of my subscribers' favourite style, because I know that most of you guys love Animal Crossing. And you know, I could have just drawn how I look in Animal Crossing, but I decided, no, I'm going to actually draw myself as a villager, so I decided to make myself as a cat. And it turned out a bit more purple than I wanted, like the skin, but that's okay, I think it looks really nice. And like the Five Nights at Freddy's one, I was trying to draw this based on 3D models, so I had to do a lot more shading than the others, which were based off 2D art. And so it took longer, but not as long as the Five Nights at Freddy's one. And I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think it's so cute. And so I decided to go for a dark rose red to contrast against the pinky purple skin. And then I decided to do brown hair, because otherwise there was going to be way too much pink. So like I said, I did brown hair, and I started off with the light base color and then went in with the darker shades to shade everything and blend it to get really smooth blends, not realistic but semi-realistic, to kind of mimic the look of the 3D models. As like I was saying, it's not 2D artwork, I was basing it off of 3D models. So here is the final product. Thank you so much for watching and sticking around to the end of the video. This was such a fun video to draw and create, and it took me a long time, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment down below which style was your favorite, like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you get more notifications of videos like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Ta-ta!
machine.